back to the Hustle and Hardwood podcast. Today we're here with DJ and Giovanni. Today we're going to be discussing a pretty big thing coming up tomorrow night. It's going to be the first round of the NBA draft. I'm going to ask both of you guys questions as to who you think is going to be first, who's going to make a big impact. So let's just start right off. Who do you think is going to be the number one pick, DJ?
I have said this to people. Obviously, the podcast hasn't been around since the start of college this season, but ever since the start of college, I've loved AJ DeBanton, just the way he plays, and I've hated Darren Peterson's work ethic. So I think, from a culture standpoint, as a player, I love AJ DeBanton going number one.
Joe?
I completely agree. I think Darren Peterson has all the talent, but like DJ said, his work ethic is just horrible. He sits out in games because he's sick or whatever. But yeah, since the start of college, I've just seen AJ DeMonster to be that guy. I think he led the freshman in scoring for D1. He was like 15th in rebounding and like 26 in assists. But he's very talented in that. Yeah, like he said, he can never be a culture changer.
Now, when it comes to Darren Peterson's work ethic, would you say the health problems he has is a big piece of what the NBA teams are going to look at and see if that's going to be a problem for them, or do you think they're just strictly looking at the talent?
I wouldn't even look at the health problems. Whenever I hear his name, I just think of the one moment. I forget what game it was. He hit a three, instantly turned to the coach and said, "Get me out." And there were
Yeah,
like
I know
17 minutes
exactly.
left in the game, and they're only up by 5. Ever since I saw that, I've been an AJ DeBanza fan and a Darren Peterson not going number one overall type of guy. So ever since I saw that, I've just been all in on DeBanza and all out on Peterson.
All right, Joe.
I agree. I think, yeah, like you said, I just don't think he would be a culture changer at all for that. I think his talent is like through the roof. He's very talented. I just don't think if, because I don't even think he's been cleared by his medics or something like that.
Yeah,
But,
I don't believe so.
but I mean, yeah, when you're looking at a team, it depends on what situation you're in. Like the Wizards, their core is pretty decent as a young core. So I think when you look at it, you don't need to pick the best name off the board. I think you just need to pick what suits you best for this rebuild.
Yeah, I agree. For me, I think that either one of them could be good for Washington. AJ Dybanta is a huge Patriots fan, so I love that. And then Darren Peterson is a Kansas Jayhawk. I'm a big fan of the Jayhawks, so I could go either way. But I do agree. I think AJ Dybanta is the clear cut number one. Now, when it comes to Darren Peterson, we did see that he went to a Wizards interview and he just canceled all the other ones. What are your opinions on that, Joe?
We've seen players do this before. Ace Bailey last year. Look how that worked out. So I would just say just don't hold yourself up to that standard yet. I mean, you're not in the NBA, but
Right.
you're well on your way, obviously. But it's just the ego. I think you should be blessed to have an opportunity to play in this NBA, and just holding yourself to that standard where I'm just like I'm the number one pick. I'm canceling all the other teams that would want to pick me. I think that's very egotistical. But I mean, what am I going to tell him? He's a grown man, so he makes his own decisions.
Yeah. DJ?
Yeah, I mean, you brought up Ace Bailey. I had the exact same thoughts last year. Everyone thought he was going to be, what, the third pick or whatever, and he went, what, fifth? Right, he went fifth
Yeah,
Yeah.
overall.
which is still good, but
Yeah, but I mean, it all comes down to is that the culture you want? And now, if you're looking at the second pick, the Jazz have it. If they do take Peterson,
Yeah,
now you got
keep
two
going,
of
keep
those
going.
guys in a very small market, a team that doesn't have a lot going for them, a team that even though they do need a second guard alongside Keontae George, I mean, do you really? I mean, at this point in the draft, there's no really other guards that are worthy of going to. But if you do take Darren Peterson, you run that risk of having now two inflated egos, one in the front court and one in the back court. Just having to build your culture around those two guys.
oh yeah, no doubt. Um, Now when it comes to if AJ Dybanta is going to be the number one overall pick, What do you think he'll bring to the Wizards as a young talent, DJ?
Well, when I look at the Wizards roster, right, they just re-signed Trae Young for that 3 year plus a 1 year player option, $212 million,
Yes, I
whatever.
did
Just
see that.
report it on that, whatever. They have Anthony Davis, who, when he's
Unbelievable.
healthy, is always going to be a serviceable. In my opinion, he's going to be a serviceable big in the league if he's healthy. So you have your guard, you have your big. If you can get a 6'9" wing that's athletic and can really kind of do it all off the dribble, whatever you need him to do, I mean, we saw I'm pretty sure Joe said he led freshmen in points per game. I'm pretty sure it was major programs in points per game as a whole in the country, if I'm not mistaken. If not, still leading freshmen in points per game. That's a big thing, especially in the era of one and dones, which I think is coming to an end, but that's a different talk. But I feel like DeBanza, he just brings a lot of youth, and it's already a young core. You have Sar. I mean, that's a good front core right there. You slot DeBanza at the 3. Very big team, very long, and very dynamic, and they can then score in all ways. I said it earlier. They can maybe even slip into the 6th seed or in the play-in if they really wanted to, if they're healthy on paper with that team, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think that's crazy. I'm definitely excited to see what AJ Dabansa brings to DC. We can all collectively agree AJ is most likely going to go 1 overall. How do you think 2, 3, 4, and everything after is going to look like?
Well, I feel like with the spot that the Jazz are at, I said it a couple seconds ago now, they need a dynamic guard alongside Keontae George, and the only guy that I would be willing to take at 2, I know there's guys like Darius Acuff, and there's in this draft, there's Kingston Flemings, there's Keen Wagler, who I'm a big fan of, but I feel like none of those guys right now I would take at number 2, even though how much I've just said I don't like Darren Peterson. I feel like as a skill-wise, you can't pass that up if you're the Jazz at number 2, and it's not a good culture to build around, but it's fun basketball to watch when he plays, and it would be fun to add that into the Jazz, which they need kind of a injection almost of youth to give them this new era of whatever Utah Jazz basketball is going to be. After that, going to the Grizzlies, we just talked about in the other episode, or the other segment, how they need to hit a reset. They have the 3rd pick. No better place to start than, in my opinion, the most NBA ready guy in this draft, Cameron Boozer. I feel like he's the most
Okay.
put together prospect as a whole. We see a lot of NBA teams now drafting based off potential at 1 and 2, and that's why I think it goes DeBanza, Peterson, Boozer. The Grizzlies are at the point where they need a guy who can come in and be their guy, and that's why I have them taking Boozer at 3.
Now, you say that you feel Boozer is the most NBA ready. What would you say he brings to the table that is NBA ready compared to the rest?
Physicality and athleticism are the 2 of the biggest things for rookies breaking into this league. You can have a guy that averages 30 points per game in college and then averages 5 in the NBA his rookie season, purely based off of his strength and conditioning. If he's not able to run the floor, if he's not able to move weight, that's not a good way to put it, but like if he's not able to move in the right way, he's not able to run the floor, he's not able to
Yeah.
he's not able to be an impact on either side of the floor, you can see a great college player turn into a lackluster NBA player.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. And for number 4, uh, what do you think is going to be the best option? Who's the number 4 overall pick?
The Bulls have the number 4 pick.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to be a big piece for their roster?
I feel like the Bulls are at a point where even though they were not horrible, they had Josh Giddey. I feel like they're at a point where they can go best player available. And in my opinion, even though he's coming off an injury, I take the Tar Heel, Caleb Wilson here. In my opinion, if this is any other draft, excluding the top 3 guys, he's a number 1 overall pick. Even though, regardless of the injury, he's a very talented player, 6'10". He can play the 4, he can play the 5,
Yeah.
he can play a little bit of the 3. Freaky athletic. And even though we didn't get to see him in a tournament run, that would have been so fun to see it. I'm just so excited to see what Caleb Wilson can do in the NBA.
Of course, yeah. I would say the Bulls probably need a big man, and I mean Caleb Wilson, like you said, he can play 4 or 5. I agree. Now, number 5 overall, I'm gonna ask you who you think is gonna go in for 5 overall, and then I'm gonna see if I agree with you. Go ahead.
Okay, in my opinion, this is where I feel like those 4 guys that we just mentioned are the top 4. Not any order. I feel like the first 2 you can switch around, the 3 and 4 you can switch around. But those are the top 4 picks in this draft. I'm a big Darius Acuff guy. I loved what he did at Arkansas. I loved seeing him lose to Florida. I like Kingston Flemings. Loved seeing him lose to Florida in the national championship. This isn't the Florida segment. Love seeing what Keaton Wagler can do. But in my opinion, I really like Michael Brown. 18 points per game in college, 4.7 assists, 6'5", 190. I know he's marked as possibly the eighth guy, but I feel like this 5 through 8 with all these guards. I mean, even then Braden Burries, he can go in there. LeBaron Philon, very good. All of these guards, they're all going to go in their own way, and it really just depends on what the team wants. And I feel like for the Clippers, you need a guard like Michael Brown Jr.
Okay, yeah. I, on the other hand, saw Keaton Wagler
Mm-hmm.
from Illinois. I mean, seeing what he did uh, in March Madness this past year, incredible. But I mean, I do think that your pick is just as good. So I will say that that could definitely go both ways. But I feel like Keaton Wagler would be a good fit. And now for pick 6 through 10, do you think that there's anything major that sticks out to you that you feel like this player definitely needs to go to this team?
I feel like if the Nets can get, as I know they have MPJ, but I feel like if they can get a pure scorer like Darius Acuff, where let me check his stats this past season. I mean, he averaged 6 assists too, 24 points per game as a freshman. I mean, and Coach Cal, he's known for those guards. I feel like if the Nets can get him at 6, that's a great pickup. He could have gone 5. Any of these guards could have went 5 in my opinion. But I feel like if Acuff goes to Brooklyn, he can start reviving what that franchise once was when they had Kyrie, when they had Kevin Durant, when they had James Harden, and bring back fun basketball to the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. I think the Nets are definitely looking for somebody who can help them restart that. And I think Darius Acuff is a big person to do that. For pick 7 through 10, do you think that there's going to be anybody major who has 7 through 10? Which teams?
It goes Kings and Hawks at 8, Mavs at 9, Bucks at 10,
Okay, okay.
Warriors, Thunder, Heat, Hornets, and then that rounds out the lottery.
All right, we got Giovanni back. I'm really liking the Atlanta Hawks at number 9, and or you said 8 or 9?
The Hawks are at. I just closed out of it. The Hawks are at 8.
Oh, 8. Okay, I really like the Hawks at 8. I mean, they're not they're a good team. They made it to the playoffs as a 6 seed, and the fact that they're able to get an early pick. Do you guys think that there's anybody that can fit a role to help the Hawks go further this year?
Let me think. Kingston Flemings looks good. I mean, um, if Darius Acuff is still on the board, I think that would be good. But he's
Yeah.
probably not going to be board. He might get picked up by the Clippers. But Kingston Flemings is a good passer. He's very fast, very fast. I think he's from not from. I think he played in Houston, right?
Yeah.
I think. Um, but his 3 point shooting is pretty decent. I think he shoots like what 40. No, I think it's like something around 40. But yeah, I think that hitting that will be good for them and their spacing. So
DJ, what do you think?
I feel like if the Hawks, I know you said Keaton Wagler at 5, but I feel like if the Hawks can get him there, you put Keaton Wagler alongside Jalen Johnson. You put him alongside C.J. McCollum, who they just re-signed to. Even though he's old, I still like him as a player. He plays basketball the right way, in my opinion. If you can get a young guard to learn from him, I feel like he can almost become the next C.J. McCollum, and he maybe even better.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good take.
okay.
Um, do you guys have any other final thoughts or any dark horses of players that could be a good first round option for any team?
First round option. Um, I mean, I think I really don't know.
I
I gotta look at the draft board, huh? I gotta look at the draft
When I
board.
look at the Mavs at 9, they just got Dusty May from Michigan. Yaxel and Ade Mara are both considered top or like mid to end of the lottery picks, you have Cooper Flag, who's going to be your dynamic. I guess he's kind of almost being a lead guard, almost dynamic wing, whatever you want to call him for them.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have Kyrie, who's going to be a good playmaker and ball handler until the day he dies. His scoring might go down a little bit, but I feel like if they can get either Yaxel Lendenberg, or Ade Mara, because I feel like with Derek Lively, he's a good player, great size. I feel like he's unreliable sometimes with his health, in my opinion. If you can get one of those guys and get him in back into Dusty May's system just as a whole, I feel like they could fit right in and go right into that youthful Mavs team that's starting to kind of unfold.
Now, Laxell just took home a championship with Michigan. What do you guys think is having him not be top seven draft pick?
I said it earlier. I feel like the top four guys in any, if they were each in a different draft, they're number one overall picks. I mean, Cooper Flag was supposed to be in this draft. That would have made the Axel eighth overall pick. I feel like just with how loaded this draft class is, that's the only reason. Any other draft class, I see Yaxel being a top six, top five pick even.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, I think, and we have to take in fact how old he is. He's also, I think, turning 24 before the NBA season even starts. So I think when you look at a lot of these guys like AJ DeMonster, he's 19, I believe. You have to think about how these guys are still on their, not saying that Yaxel isn't like on his way up. I'm just saying they're a lot younger, so they have a lot more time in the NBA. Yaxel's almost 24, so him I think he would be more of an instant rotation player instead of like these, like a lot of these late, early, uh, mid lottery picks would be like kind of like semi rotation player, kind of like a Rob Dillingham. But like Yaxel, he definitely has to be in the rotation, or his NBA career isn't just gonna work based off how old he is.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
guys have any? Oh, go ahead, DJ.
yeah,
Yeah.
the topic of older players in the draft, we've seen them fall in past years. Dalton Connect fell. I mean, obviously, I'm going to point to Walter Clayton Jr. as a Gators fan. He fell far, being a fourth year guy. Connect was 3 or 4 years at Tennessee. I don't exactly remember, but we've seen these guys. I mean, Dalton Connect, he was a very good player until the whole Hornets thing happened, where it kind of messed with his head or whatever. But I feel like if that didn't happen, Dalton Connect would be a key rotational guy on the Lakers. Walter Clayton Jr.'s kind of bounced around teams, but at times we've seen him have those 15, 20 point performances we've seen. And if Yaxel can get into a system where they'll play him and they're ready for him to take the spotlight, like a place like Dallas where they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do around Cooper Flag, I feel like Yaxel could be the big of the Mavs for the next 10 years.
For sure, definitely for sure. I
Yeah.
agree.
Any final thoughts from you guys before the big night tomorrow?
Loki, I have Braden Burries going to the Maps. That's my pick.
Mm.
Braden Burries going to the Maps.
DJ.
He's a really good player, bro.
I like Braden
All
Burries. I just
right.
feel like it's not what the Mavs need right now. They can take a guard next year.
He might go to the Bucks.
Yeah, that too.
Loki might go to the Bucks.
Well, that's going to be all from the Hustle and Hardwood podcast. Mock draft, big night coming up tomorrow. A lot of potential superstars. That's going to be all, though.